One, let the people know what BRRRR means. You said you bird.
For
what
sure,
exactly is that?
So BRRRR is BRRR. BRRRR is buy, renovate, rent, and refinance. Or, some people say BRRRR, which is buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. And that's just one of there's so many ways to get into real estate.
Correct.
And some people like subject to, some people like seller finance, some people like to just put their money down on 20%. But I like the BRRRR method simply because I'm able to come into a home that is distressed and undervalued. I'm able to add things to it to bring up its value.
Correct.
And I can get my money back.
Hey, gang peoples, how are we doing? This is Mike Headley. We are back. Another great episode on the Headley Real Estate Show. This brother right here don't need too much introduction. He is an alumni 3 times. This brother has been on our show, has graced us with his expertise. He's an investor, killing the game. Be prepared for a lot of knowledge, insight, and wisdom. This brother right here, Tylann, no need to mention companies and all that. He's just a real estate and investor, a knowledgeable one, not someone where as though, there's no knock to them, but you got a lot of people on social media, buy my course. This brother's the real deal. Let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Tylann, brother. How you doing?
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you for having me again.
Oh, man, brother, let me say, okay, thank you. And like I was saying is, 3 times a charm, brother. You came, you've always supported this show. We really appreciate that because you literally seen the growth. And like I tell people all the time is don't feel as though you have to be good starting off. I mean, you've seen it. Little by little, we getting better and better and better and better, right?
Absolutely. I appreciate it. I respect it. I'm a fan of it, man.
And I appreciate that, brother. So, Tylann, go ahead and say your whole name. I just said Tylann. You let people know we.
I should have put it in the thing. I just put Tylann. It's Tylann Durrett, company name Durrett Holdings. But that's my name.
and that's your name. And now, Tylann, let the people know, people who have not seen episode 2 or number 1, how long you been in the real estate game, and what got you into investing?
Nice. So I've been in real estate, buying and holding real estate 10 years. And what initially got me into it was just I was watching HGTV one day and I saw these people fixing up houses and selling them. And I was like, I think I could do that, right? And so me and my buddy, we took a chance and did a flip. Things didn't go so well. But this was before the 10-year stint with long-term rentals. This was actually before that. This was 08, 09. Everything tanked on us while we were flipping. And so I didn't do real estate again for maybe like a year and a half, 2 years. And I didn't want to be a landlord. But really at that time, there was really nothing. I didn't see another way to eat in real estate,
Okay.
I was like, the flip game is kind of like not what it was because all the values are down. The best thing that I saw was buying and holding properties, and I didn't want to be a landlord. But I was like, you know what? If I can buy one property and pay my car note, then I'm cool with that. So then I bought a 3-unit. It paid my car note, and I was like, I said, well, if I can pay my car note, maybe pay for some expenses, I'm cool with that. Bought another one. Then I was like, well, man, if I can, I just kept going, and then I just never stopped from there. So that's how I started.
So let me ask you, let's back it up a little bit. Kudos to you because you got inspired by HGTV, right? Yeah. I got this thing against HGTV in terms of it's kind of a good and bad thing. And what I mean by the good, because they always show you the good side, right? Hey, they don't show you when the deals fall apart, but you actually took that and you got inspired to say, I can do that. Transition into your first deal and you said, I can do this. you said you purchased a 3-family unit. You went on and on and on from there.
Mm-hmm.
Was deals just a plethora, just all over the place, or how was you able to get that deal?
So ideally, I wanted to buy houses, fix them up, and sell them, of course. But the margins were like just not there because everything just kept tanking.
Okay.
And so buying and holding, I thought about it. I said, well, if everything's tanking, I can get it for a better deal. If the rents aren't tanking, it's not like the rents are going down. It's like the values are going down. And so I found my first deal, 90th and Burley, actually. And it's east. If anybody's familiar with Chicago, south side, but it's east. I got that home. I got that 3-unit for $150. I made about $900 a month off of it, something like that. And that home today is worth just about $290,000.
Wow,
something like that. Just from buying and holding. I still own it. And
nice.
And so I just, I didn't ideally, like I said, I just wanted to sell properties, buy them, fix them. I wanted the glorious part of real estate, like you said, HGTV.
Correct.
People buying houses, fixing up houses, selling them, making $1 million.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be my life, but I got hit by reality, and I had to adjust. It almost scared me away, but it didn't. And I was able to kind of bounce back from it and just keep buying. So,
nice. I'm a buy and hold kind of guy, and I take it you are as well.
Oh, I am now. I wasn't at first.
Now, okay.
I wasn't at first. When I first came in, like I said, I just wanted to flip.
To flip, right?
Oh,
so
absolutely.
what was that click to make you say, I need to hold on to this?
Well, yeah, I looked at it and I said, okay, I can't really flip for the numbers I want to flip for because the market is down, but I can buy, and this stuff will go up eventually. And I was just thinking, like, why not get my money on a monthly basis? It's almost that question of, some people are like, hey, if you win the lottery, would you take $20 million today, or would you take, I don't know, 20 grand a month?
Correct.
Whatever. And people did have their different perspectives on that. But for me, the residual, if it's going to last longer than the bigger chunk, then I want the residual. Because eventually, once I hit my number, that's going to be it. But with the residual, I'll always have some money. And it was the best thing ever, because when the market boomed, I was able to pull from the properties I bought because I got them at such a good deal. And that's when I was able to take chunks of money and really start investing aggressively. I always tell people, my first 5 years real estate, out of the 10 years I've been buying and holding, the first 5 years, I think I owned 5 homes. And over the last 5 years, I've bought, 30 something more homes.
Get that brother a round of applause for that there. Let me see right. Okay. There we go. Yeah, brother. Yeah, that's awesome right there, man. You said you brought 30 some homes within the last 5 years.
Absolutely.
So what was that? Well, the first thing I'm gonna say, Todd, you can't bump the camera a little bit. We don't want to get half of your head. There we go. There we go. Right there.
My bad.
So it's all good. What was the sudden acceleration, considering the market we in, that made you just jump on 30 something homes after the 5 years into the business?
There was two things. One was fear, right?
Fear.
Like, the first thing was, like, I bought my first rental property, the furnace went out, and then I had I had to get a tenant in there. The one tenant lost her job, and there was like little things like that. And I was becoming acclimated to being a landlord. And so for the first 2 years, I only owned that one.
Okay.
Right. So 2 year, my 10-year journey was just one property. Then year 3, I bought another one. I got some courage to buy another one. And then, year 4 and 5, I also bought like I think 5, I bought 2, year 5. And then the market started to turn a little bit where I had equity, and I was able to go ahead and refi. This is the second thing. I was able to go ahead and refi those properties. Now, when I was able to refi those properties, I walked away with a good chunk of money. And so now I was able to start burning deals because I had the money, I had the capital to go fix them up, refinance them. And that's how I was able to scale faster. You know?
Nice. So, okay, you said a lot there, and I want to unpack some of it. One, let the people know what BRRRR means. You said you bird. What exactly is that?
So BRRRR is BRRR. BRRRR is buy, renovate, rent, and refinance. Or, some people say BRRRR, which is buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. And that's just one of there's so many ways to get into real estate.
Correct.
And some people like subject to, some people like seller finance, some people like to just put their money down on 20%. But I like the BRRRR method simply because I'm able to come into a home that is distressed and undervalued. I'm able to add things to it to bring up its value.
Correct.
And I can get my money back. You know? So the example would be if the home is $50,000 and, it takes $50,000 to fix up, I go to the bank, I give them 20% down. They give me the loan. And then let's say the home is worth $200,000. I can refinance it for typically 70 to 80% of what it's worth. On average, about 70%. Very few of them are doing 80% nowadays, but there are some out there. But so then I walk away with the 140, and so now when I call it flipping to yourself. Everybody wants to do a flip, just like me.
Correct.
Everybody, when I first got in the game, I just want to flip. And I said, look, how about this? How about you flip the home to yourself and gain a rental? Like, what do you mean? Because when I say BRRRR method, I think a lot of people think it's like real estate jargon, and they get a little nervous. They feel like it's like an acronym that they're not familiar with, and they don't want to be involved. But you're familiar with flipping, so just think of it like a flip from yourself to your company, and now you're going to walk away with the some money out of the loan, which is tax free. You're going to walk away with your down payment, and you're going to walk away with equity, and residual income, as opposed to fixing up a house, selling it, walking away with a chunk of money, and then being taxed on the money. And now you don't have a rental, you don't have equity, you don't have a tax write-off, you don't have appreciation or depreciation, you don't have any of those things because you sold the property.
Well, let me ask you something. Let me pull back a little bit. I'm gonna play devil's advocate, because I think kind of speaking for myself. I might be speaking for a few people watching. What do you say to people who say, now you're going in, you buy the property, refinance it, fix it up, you're refinancing at the current value, you're pulling capital out, right?
Yep.
To hopefully to do another deal. But while you pull that capital out, that's money that has to be paid back, correct?
Absolutely.
Now that's money has to be paid back, but you offset that by having a tenant in there who's actually paying for that, correct?
Exactly.
So now your debt went from here to there. So clearly the goal is to never pay the property off, basically. It's not. I'm unsure.
Well, everybody's strategy is different. I've heard people say refi till you die, right?
Correct. Okay. Refi till you die. Gotcha.
I've heard people say refi till you die. I've heard some people say when they get a certain age, they're going to stop pulling money. I don't think there's a wrong way to do it, but I would say they all have this common thing, or this one thing in common is they want the tenant to pay off the debt. Right?
Okay.
As long as you can cover the mortgage, the expenses, and pay yourself and grow, then I think it's a good deal. If you got $1,000 mortgage and that person is in there for $1,600, it's a good deal.
Great deal.
Because you got 30% equity, you got the tax write-off, you got everything. I mean, it's one of the best vehicles I've seen in investing. I mean, I've looked into everything. I thought about starting every type of business. You sit around and think about all these businesses.
Correct.
Real estate just offers.
Real estate is the best.
It's the best,
And also it fast tracks you to you said 30-something deals by using that formula.
Yep, exactly.
Just to add a little more on top of that, we interviewed someone and they brought this strategy up, and I said, hey, man, that is a good one. Literally refinanced all the money out of all their properties. I think they had something like 20, 25 different properties. Took that, was able to buy more deals and living off the rest. But to have a life insurance policy for that debt and much higher. So something happens to them and you set the trust up to give the will directions to pay all the debt off. So this way, whoever gets the property is getting a debt-free property. I said, wow, damn, that's the game, huh?
Well, a lot of people, that's part of the concept of refi till you die. A lot of people, they'll be 70, 80 years old. They kind of feel like, okay, I'm close to the edge. Let me refinance everything now. That way it's tax-free, right? Correct. And because, when you hand a child to someone, a beneficiary, and you don't do it through a trust, they get taxed if they sell it or whatever the case may be, So it's like, okay, I'm going to pull the money out and then I'm going to just bump up my life insurance policy. And when I get out of here, I'm going to just have it pay it off. So I've definitely heard that. That's a brilliant strategy.
Brilliant strategy. So let's back it up a little bit. You said different ways of getting into real estate, which we all know that. I've always told people, I said, real estate is the actual bark and the tree limbs is the different avenues you can get into, whether it be commercial, residential, how you go about your financing, 20%, you said getting other people's money, subject tos. What would you say to an investor fresh and said, Tylann, look, I don't have as much money. I got a very little knowledge. I've been watching YouTube videos. I've been watching the Headley Group Real Estate Show. What is 3 to 5 or whatever steps that you would give me to move forward as getting into real estate?
Oh, absolutely.
To be an investor.
The number one way, there's 2 ways to get into real estate with no money or little money. Wholesaling is one that a lot of people talk about. Wholesaling, I've seen people be very successful at it.
And what is wholesaling, please?
Wholesaling.
People in the back.
Okay. So wholesaling, my bad. Wholesaling is basically when you take a property, you put a contract on it, and then you sell said contract to a buyer for a higher price, right? And people like to get into real estate with this strategy because then you're just moving paper, right? You do have to be skilled at, finding deals that are ideal for the seller and the buyer, but that is one way to get in it. But my favorite way to get into real estate would be house hacking, right?
I like that.
House hacking.
Let people know what house hacking is.
Yeah, exactly. So house hacking is basically when you buy a piece of property, and typically it's a multifamily, right? A 4, 3, or 2 unit, and you live in one unit and you rent the other ones out to offset the mortgage. So an example, if it's a 4 unit and the building's bringing in, if you got 3 of the units rented out and it's bringing in $1,000 per unit, and that mortgage happens to be, $2,500, you now can live in one unit for free, and you're going to make a $500 profit on that building. I think that's a great way to start in real estate because now you have an opportunity to save money, get real estate experience, and get into a home for a low down payment. And the biggest part of our expenses is often like our rent or mortgage. Like between our rent, mortgage, and car notes and everything to do with our car, that's typically like 80% of what everybody's spending outside of food, right? So typical. If you get typically, for the average American, right? And so if you can like eliminate your living costs,
it is.
I mean, that's big.
You should be stacking money.
You should be stacking money. You're able to stack money, work your job. I always tell people, don't be so quick to work your job. Use your job as a vehicle. And everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but I always tell people, work on the big 3 first, because everybody invests in the big 3. And the big 3 is insurance policies, the market, and real estate. If you don't have roots in those, whatever business you start, no matter how good it takes off or explodes, if you don't have roots in the big 3, you're coming back down. It always happens. Jay-Z or Kanye or whomever, all these guys, have fundamental investing knowledge. You got to learn how to do a layup before you do a 360 dunk.
That's it.
And so I always believe in just taking, steps with the big 3.
Are you looking for a real estate brokerage to help you buy or sell your property? The Headley Group Realty is here to assist you with that process. We also hire brokers to join us and give them the best training and mentorship, leading to a great office atmosphere and an attractive commission structure. Our goal is to show homeownership at the highest professional level and empower the real estate business. If you're interested in buying or selling your property, visit www.theheadleygroup.com or call us at 336-904-6212. We look forward to partnering with you.
I like that. I like that you gave them the basic bullet points of like in your way of how to get in real estate. Because again, you said 4 units and under, and they might probably be able to get an FHA loan, 3.5% down, using it as an owner occupant and be able to leverage that to do other things.
Exactly.
That was great. I like that. You mentioned holding on to your job, and that's the first thing. I know we want to quit our job so much, but let that be your job, be your first investor, right? If you look at it, that's the perspective. Okay, I don't have peers, or that means that if I'm making X amount of money, that means I'll be putting a percentage of that aside every month so I can build up to have a down payment. You
exactly.
agree?
I love that concept, and I wholeheartedly agree. One thing I'm noticing about this generation, just in general, and especially this generation of Black men and the next generation under the millennials and the Gen Zs is it's not cool to have a 9-to-5.
Ain't that something?
And they would rather. I'm seeing grown men that would rather not work, not have anything, and they think that that's better than working a 9-to-5.
That's crazy.
To me, that's like psychologically backwards, because
really
not
is.
having anything scares me as a grown man out of here.
Very much so.
So whatever I got to do to get something, with legally, right?
Correct. I got it, bro.
Right. Exactly. I'm gonna work, and I worked my job proudly for years.
Smart.
And I bought property on the side for years until I woke up one day. I did my taxes, and I said, you know what? I think I'm at a point where I can stay or leave if I want to, and I still kept working.
That's it.
And people just they don't understand that the 9-to-5 isn't a trap; it's an opportunity. And if you gotta pimp the 9-to-5, you gotta use it to your advantage. I mean, some people aren't blessed with a job, and you're not lame for working a job, and you're not uncool for working a job. It's a blessing to have a job. It's only a bad thing when you don't do for self with the opportunity of the job.
There it is.
If you sit in your job and you never buy anything or invest anything or do anything outside of it, that's when it becomes a trap.
That's right.
So, I mean, a job is a beautiful thing, and I think more people need to look at it and take advantage and opportunity of the 9-to-5. I hate this generation of just guys who I ain't working for nobody. It's like, well, we gonna just sit on your couch because you ain't gonna work for nobody.
Basically.
I want to be my own boss. You gotta learn how to be a boss first. Yeah, you gotta work under a boss so you can know how to be a boss. Nobody's
everything you said. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I say nobody's respecting the steps, but go ahead. My bad.
That's right. No, everything you said is literally perspective and how you see things. You said, hey, listen, I'm seeing this as an opportunity. This is a vehicle, a bridge get from point A to point C, to point A, B, and C, and D. Kudos on that. Versus some people, it's like, I go to a job. I hated it. Okay, well, it's temporarily. Nobody said you have to be here forever. Let's transition into. You said you mind telling me how many doors do we have now?
Currently, 45.
45.
Yes, 45
doors. Let's let the people marinate on this right here. This brother owned 45 doors. Just listen to me. Let me look dead into this camera.
Yeah.
This brother started 10 years ago, and actually really the last 5 years, catapulted, brought 30-something doors. Brother owned 45 doors. Can real estate happen for you? Of course it can. But what I'm getting out of the brother, what he's saying here is he slow walked it little by little. He didn't bite off more than he can chew. Tylann, let me dig into this. Do you have any partners?
No, I don't have any partners. That's the next phase.
That's the next phase. Hold. So before you get into that, because I'm going somewhere with that. There's like the brother said initially, so many ways you get in real estate. You can get in with partners with an S, or you can get in by yourself.
Yep.
Getting in with partners, a lot of great benefits. You can learn so much, fast track it, less money probably out of the pocket. But I guarantee you this brother probably picked up a Harvard education by doing things his own, doing things his way initially by himself, and now he's going to transition. Now you can go in, Tylann, and tell me beauty about the partnership that you're about to get into now.
No, definitely. I want to scale. When I first came on this show, I think I was the very first time I was about to close on my
32.
That was the second time.
You was 32 then, I think. Your time.
I was closing on 30. When I came back, I was at 32, and now it's 45. And now I just got a verbal commitment for 3 more single families. So the other day, so next time,
brother, we're gonna get another round of applause, man. This brother got a verbal commitment. So hold on, before we go into the second part with the partnership, I gotta ask you. You mentioned you're in Chicago, Illinois, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I know we talked about this before. Sometimes, the media gives Chicago a bad rep, but you're actually working it through, right? You on the ground. I mean, you seeing what's going on. You saying, hey, this is my backyard. I'm working on it. This is nothing for me. What do you say to people where as though multifamily, 2, 3, 4 units or bigger, is not as available? All right, not available. Should they go at another route, or what do you say to that? Or in other words, or when they do hit the market, they're so high that there's no margins there. It's a waste of time.
So I own currently now a 45 doors, 6 properties are multifamily.
Nice.
And the other 30 something are single family homes. So I always tell people there's more than one way to skin a cat, and I see the benefits of both. I actually have a preference of buying single family homes. That's just me. Now, I think everybody should start with multifamily homes because you can house hack, right? You can afford more because they're going to allow you to count 70% of the income from the other units to qualify towards your debt to income, right? And so debt to income DTI is basically a calculation of how much house the bank thinks you can afford. So when you're starting out, you want to start out with multifamilies, and that's what I did. But you have IQ in real estate, and then you have EQ, right? And I call it emotionally intelligent investing. Okay. Right. Okay. And so these are the things that you can't see on paper. A lot of guys talk 1% rule, 2% rule, cap rate. Those things are all work that they're 100% right. But what I found with the single family home tenant is that these people tend to be more settled.
Nice.
Right. Correct. They tend to be family oriented. They tend to be a little older. They tend to be just more, they don't want to move. People don't, from my experience, a lot of them don't move into single family homes to then move out the next year. Whereas the multifamily home people sometimes
in and out. Correct.
It's in and out. I'm just in town, or I'm about to buy a house, or I want to get a house, or some stay. I do have some that
stay.
Grow
Correct.
roots,
okay.
And typically they're older and they're downsizing. From my experience, when they do stay, they had a house already, they raised their kids, and now they reverse engineering the situation. So I like people to stay, and I like people to be comfortable, and I like people to enjoy their home. And so I kind of, if you can't find the multifamilies, I always tell people, don't be afraid to answer your question. I know it's a long-winded way to answer your question.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Go ahead.
But if you can't find multifamilies that are a good deal, a lot of people just throw away the concept of investing in a single family home.
That's
There's
true.
a lot of single family homes that you can add value to, refi, and still make a good money on. And then when you add the value, you address all major systems. You address the roof, furnace, electrical, plumbing, and now you got this person who's more settled, and you have all major systems addressed. It's a good investment. And then also you can put the gas, snow removal. You can kind of also the grass and the snow removal on them because it's a house.
That's right.
So I would say don't be afraid to diversify. I have a very diversified portfolio, predominantly single family, and I know a lot of people are like, what? You got to get multi-families, and it's like, I got those too.
But
that's
right, brother.
There's nothing wrong with the single family home investment.
Correct.
It's a numbers game, especially when you're scaling.
Yeah. So what do you say to short-term rentals, Vrbo, Airbnb, furnished finders. What's your take on that?
I said a couple years ago, people said I was crazy. When the Airbnb boomed, I said, this is going to slow down. I said, the concept is new. People are excited. But when the prices start to go up a little bit and they got close to the hotel prices, I think people looked at customer service and was like, fresh towels, room service, security, they can't just cancel on me. Like Airbnb, they can cancel at any time. They can't put their own spin on it. And now you see these Airbnbs starting to slow up. So I think short-term rentals are a great investment personally, but I always tell people, if you can't buy the short-term rental with long-term numbers, to me, it's a bad deal.
Okay.
Right? So if I got this home and I can't afford this mortgage without a long-term renter,
got you.
I can only do it with a short-term renter, it's a bad deal.
Okay.
Because worst case scenario, market terms, people aren't taking vacations, it's not renting out, whatever. You can say, you know what, let me put a long-term person here to cover this mortgage and make some money. I see so many people getting in these houses, man, these luxury places and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now they subleasing, now cats ain't renting it out no more. And
correct.
It's a mess, if you don't do it right. So I need long-term numbers. Right. Yeah, exactly. I need long-term numbers for any short-term rental for sure.
Any short-term rental. Okay. So would you say, instead of the similar to like Airbnb or Vrbo, they do have the, let's say, traveling nurses, so to speak. They may stick around 2-3 months, 90 days. Well, would you say that's a good deal, or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Once again, short-term rentals, great investment. But if you cannot afford that mortgage on a long term, and I'll give you an example. If let's say you get a short-term rental and the mortgage is $1,500, and you look in the market and rents are, long-term cash tenants, market plan tenants are paying $2,000, right? And you're like, well, I don't want to make $500 a month. I want to make $2,000 a month. I'm gonna go short-term. That still works, because if all else fails, you can resort back.
Exactly.
It's the same thing with my model. When I'm buying a home, I have a few market tenants, and I have other programs outside of Section 8 that I deal with. Okay. But Section 8 pays a little bit less typically, than the market. So when I do my numbers, though, I do my numbers off of Section 8 numbers. So now I have worst case scenario situations.
Correct.
And then also all my homes are rehabbed to Section 8 standard, to where they would pass a Section 8 inspection. So maybe I go and I deal with Catholic Charities on this one. Maybe I go and I deal with Housing and Health, or one of these other programs in Chicago that doesn't have such a strenuous inspection. But correct. I know I can pass a Section 8 inspection, and I know I can support the home with a Section 8 voucher. I apply that same logic to long-term or short-term rentals. Like, let's make sure that the long-term situation makes sense in this home before we go short-term. Because another example, a bad example, would be if the mortgage is $3,000 and the rent's $2,000 for market, and you're like, well, I'm just going to do short-term. You might be underwater.
Correct.
You can't get that child.
Rolling the dice.
You're rolling the dice, and you don't ever want to gamble. You want to strategize.
You mentioned something that spiked my curiosity here. When you go to repair and renovate the property, you specifically say this is going to be Section 8 standard.
Yes.
Okay. And you have that criteria list exactly. The windows should be certainness, whether it be carpet, flooring, appliances, has to be. So Section 8, and for those who don't know, that's a program that the city offers for discount or to help with subsidized homes, I guess I take it. Is it?
Yeah, it's a subsidy program.
Program, okay. And so do you, once Jane or John Doe, whomever comes to you and say, hey, I want to lease this place, do you actually put them through an application process, or you just pick them off the list and just go with them?
So So screening looks different for different programs.
Okay.
Right. So if you're a market, I'm going to go all the way. Right. We're going to have to do the whole screening because now we're dealing with a market tenant. With these other programs, sometimes they have their own screening. And so sometimes I'll connect with the caseworker or, whichever program. So typically they have their own thing. So it really just varies on the person, but there always is some kind of form of screening. And I do like to meet the tenants, and ask them, just how long you planning on staying? Just ask a couple questions because I always tell them, I said, look, I want you to stay. And I want this to be a good experience for you. I won't lie to you. I don't want people moving in and out my house. I want you to stay here.
Correct.
I look them in the eyes, shaking their hand, and I tell them, this is what I want. And a lot of times when you build that rapport with them from a property management standpoint, they'll be like, oh,
Okay, I see what I got going on here. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, okay, cool. It's a house. It's nice. It meets the standard. I want them to stay. They want to stay. And now we have a good thing. I always tell people, I think I've had 3 move outs in my single family homes in the 10 years I've invested.
I was going to ask you what that turnover ratio looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead.
And 2 of them were from the old owners. They were moving out before I bought it.
Got you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to ask you that. You go in, you don't make the homes look like Taj Mahal, but you do make them presentable and livable. Somebody say, okay, I like living here.
Absolutely.
I tell clients when they buy investment properties, just don't do the lipstick job, right? Pick on a lipstick, right? Go in, spend a little bit of money. In other words, it don't got to be too high and stuff. Make it look presentable. This way, when your mechanics are taken care of, or sometimes they could be brand new, the chances and the probability of them calling you 4 and 5, 6 months from now, hey, this needs to be repaired and fixed, is slim because you have newer stuff, unless they just completely trying to demolish your stuff. Do you have that? And what's your process with that? Something's not working, something's not operating correctly. How do you deal with that?
So the things that are going to cost you the most money are the mechanics. And by mechanics, I mean all of the rough. Now, the rough would be considered the plumbing, the electrical, the furnace, foundation, if there's any foundation issues, and roofing. So when it comes to the bones of a property, this is where I spend all my money, right? Like I spend good money with good people on the bones. And then when it's time to close the walls up and do all the cosmetics, I do something called cheap luxury.
Nice.
Right?
Okay.
So we do, waterproof laminate floors, solid quartz countertops, nice cabinets, but nothing too crazy on the cabinets. And then we paint the walls white or light French gray. And nice. we keep it really simple on that side because those are the things that are going to get messed up. They're going to loosen the doorknobs. They're going to scuff the floors. Even if they're a good tenant, the floors get scuffed. The walls get scuffed. The doorknobs get loose. The faucet or toilet gets clogged or whatever the case may be. These things happen, but you just want to make sure that the bones are together. The inside, you got to work it from the inside out. So I always tell people, spend the money on the inside, and then you can kind of, flatline on the outside. Cheap luxury.
I like that. I like that analogy you gave.
Are you looking to join a winning team? Join us as a broker and receive high-level training, mentorship, and an awesome commission structure. If you're interested, visit www.theheadleygroup.com or call us at 336-904-6212. We look forward to partnering with you.
And you get so many investors want to go out the cheap way, so to speak. Don't spend as much money on the mechanicals. Then now you got to dig back into the sheetrock because you got a water problem.
Man, cheap plumbing, cheap electrical, cheap roof. That's going to cost you big money. If you, it's one of those things. It's kind of like, this is how I look at rehabs. You could spend the money on healthier food now, or you can eat all the cheap junk you want now and spend the money on medicine later.
That's it. Great analogy. Awesome.
That's kind of how That's how you look at it.
That's it, brother.
That's
it.
It's like, it's like you go eat this salad right now, bro. And these fruit right now.
Mm-hmm.
Or you go eat your, McDonald's or your French fries, and you go be asking for a pill every 4 hours.
Why I got this lump growing out of my side?
Exactly. Yeah. So you can take always while we in there, open these walls up. Let's get to it, and let's get some really good guys in here, and let's do it the right way.
Do you do a home inspection on prior to? I'm like right after purchase to get a good idea, or you just kind of go off of checking everything out since you've been doing it so long?
I have my contractor walk it.
Okay.
I don't at this stage of the game. I don't.
Because you've been doing it so long, correct?
Yeah. I don't do a real home inspection, but I would suggest to everybody who's getting in real estate, get a home inspection.
Correct.
Home inspections are very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Inspections will help guide you on a rehab, and they'll save you from a bad deal for sure. But
correct.
Typically, before I buy it, I just bring my guy through it. We've been working for, 8 years now of my 2-year journey, and he knows what I'm looking for. I know how he works. I know what to look for. We just kind of, there's nothing that can't be fixed.
Correct. He'll go out there and say, well, let me ask him. I'm quite sure y'all got, with all kinds. Well, let me back it up. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing with investing in real estate is the money you're spending on GCs, subcontractors, to make sure you don't get robbed. And you've developed a relationship with yours to know that I'm quite sure you got to the point whatever he says is like, I trust him, right? And even though he give you a number, like for example, like with my guy, every now and then I got to say, come on, man, it's too hot, man. I got to bring him back down a little bit. Right? But 95% of the time it's like, okay, let's just make it happen because, like you said, we're on the same page.
Absolutely. I always tell people, offer value first. And in all your relationships, if you can offer value first, the rest will come. And so with my GC years ago, when we started, it was just a regular GC investor relationship, but it got to a point where I liked them. And I just said, look, man, I know how GCs work. You go from job to job. You're out here bidding on jobs all the time, trying to find work, right? Mm-hmm. I will give you everything I have. I said, I'm not stopping.
Correct.
Right? So you will get every rehab I do. Plus I'll give you, Section 8 work or whatever work you want. Just make sure the prices are fair and make sure that you're consistent. Mm-hmm. And he was like, you know what? He sees me moving. He sees the value. Now he don't have to look for jobs all the time. He knows.
Correct. Okay. Keep him busy.
Exactly. Like I told him, I said, look, I got 3 more verbals. That's 3 more rehabs. He's doing a rehab for me right now in Morgan Park.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so he just came off a rehab. he's on it, and now he got 3 more. So he don't have to look for no work. The jobs are yours. You just do your thing, and that way I ain't got to keep bouncing from GC to GC, and he don't have to keep finding work. It's just I just offered him some value. So if you're in a space to offer somebody value, always do.
And evidently he gets paid per job. You don't pay him like on no salary or anything like that.
We've been talking back and forth about a salary.
Okay.
I still pay him per. And depending on my production for that year, it gets expensive. Mm-hmm. But right now we do per job. But we've been in talks. I told him this year I want to hit 50 doors.
Nice.
And maybe as I scale beyond that, it might be time to say, hey man, just come over here.
You take care of all maintenance and everything else. Anything goes on, he takes care of that as well.
I said, look, I will give you every maintenance call. I'll give you every Section 8 inspection. I'll give you every rehab. But you gotta,
take care of it
here, and take care of me.
Well, in his mind, you think you're extremely rich. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You talking about 50 doors? He think, he got it. Yeah. So
yeah. But he's a fair guy, though. He's a fair guy, though.
Nice. And the reason why I touched on that so much, and I really wanted people to hear that, because I just think the contracting piece on your journey of real estate is so important, because you got so many people out here who will know that you are inexperienced, or if you are experienced, but you never worked with them before. Some can take advantage of you, So that's why it's always great to probably get 2 or 3 quotes until you develop that rapport, like Tylann said, so you can have that rapport where y'all can have a great relationship and continue to work with each other.
Always in the beginning, I got a lot of quotes. I never gave a lot of money up front. Mm-hmm. I was always like a 20% down type of guy, if anything. Yeah, you got to vet people. But once you got a guy that's vetted, what I see investors do a lot is they are very short-sighted with the GC. And they view them as just a worker and not as a human being that wants to grow also.
Correct.
And so what happens with the investors is they keep trying to stick it to the GC. They keep trying to short.
They're hurting themselves.
They keep trying to go cheapo. And it's like, no, man, pay that man the money. Paying that man the money so he can feed his family is going to help you in the long run. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody has to eat, you know? And so it's like, I said, how can I, help you? When I built it up, I said, look, man, you can get all this work. You get all the work. Now you getting money,
Exactly. And the thing is too, word get around, boss man right there, he cheap. Yeah. Like they'll tell others and they don't want to rock with you, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So you need to be watched. So very, very important what Tylann just said, that you want to make sure you take care of your GCs. So let me ask them here, we kind of wrapping things up. What's your thoughts on, which I advise potential clients to do someone to get in real estate businesses, to actually get a home warranty on your investment properties. So this way, something occurs, even though like $400 or $500 a year, but if something really occurred that you could have missed, that home warranty, they'll send somebody out there, you'll pay that trip fee, $75, $50, but they take care of anything. What's your thoughts on that?
I haven't done a warranty outside of the warranties that come with the things that I fix. Like typically when you buy a furnace or a water tank, it has a warranty for an extended period of time. Like my roofer guaranteed the roof for so many years. So I haven't done like a aftermarket warranty. I'm not very familiar with it. I don't think it sounds like a bad idea. I do know that if you're scaling, I guess that is a big nugget, to pay. Yeah. If it's,
And let me say this right here, I mean to interrupt you, but in your case, it probably because you take care of your properties. But if you get El Cheapo, he put this half dishwasher, he got it from Goodwill.
Yeah.
And chances are going to break down. That home warranty, you might want to have that because they'll come out there and possibly fix it or replace it.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm the guy that's eating the salad and the fruit first, man. I'm the guy, like I said, I've learned, if you put the money in the beginning of the rehab and the beginning of the project, you probably really won't. I'm not going to advise you not to get a warranty, nor am I going to say you don't need a warranty. But if you do things right, you do your plumbing right, your electrical, your roof, your furnace, if you do everything right the first time, per my experience, it's hard for it to go wrong.
Exactly. Very much so.
Because even if they in there tearing your stuff up, it's floors, it's paint, it's trim, it's stuff like that. It's not like it's as long as you got to get it right the first time. You go in cheap, you probably should get a warranty because it's gonna happen to you. It's gonna bite you later.
And the reason why I know it is because I was that guy, just being transparent. Man, I ain't want to spend money. But then I kept realizing, damn, I always got to fix this. I always kept, light bulb came on. Take care of it all on the front end. That's what I started doing. Then this way, the phone calls, the headaches, the stress became minimum to nothing because I addressed it. I ate the salad early. That's what it was. I took care of it. I took the vitamins early versus eating the junk food.
Yes, sir.
Tylann, brother, listen, you have definitely enlightened the audience, as always, with a lot of information, advice. This brother's in the Chicago area, investor. Are you planning on, I think we asked this before, you plan on stepping out the backyard and going to different markets?
I want to go in. So what's coming on in the future is this year's goal was to hit 50 doors. I'm talking to some potential partners. I'm thinking about partnering with people and scaling even faster and getting more real estate. And I'm at a point now where I have a nice base and I don't mind being a small part of something really big. It was hard for me to partner up with people before because a lot of the people I was around, my friends and stuff that I tried to start with, weren't like-minded. Everybody was scared of investing. Everybody holding on to their $10,000,
and actually, it's probably $5,000 now.
It's probably the price of eggs. Yeah,
exactly. Right. Yeah,
definitely. So part of me partnering with people and us maybe doing private equity and syndication is going to be stepping outside the backyard. But there's still a lot of room to grow in Chicago, and I told myself I'm gonna be here you know, because I got a system here until I max out, you know.
Nice.
I'm in I like the Morgan Park area. I like the Roseland area. I like the Pullman area, you know. You know, I'm definitely going to keep building my portfolio here, but that is what's next. Expansion, being a small piece of something large. I'm cool with 5%. You know, we get all together and buy it together and I just get my dividend. I'm cool with, you know, partnering with people going forward for sure.
Well, you know, I like the concept you just used, or just taking a little piece.
Yep.
And people feel as though, hey, I got to have it all for me. And I thought about this a while back. I know where I got it from. It said, would you rather have 100% of a grape or 25% of a watermelon, right? So now, it's only 25%, but the piece is so much bigger, right? Tylann, brother, you lighten us with so much great information. You know, you watch the show. Two golden nuggets. Give it to me. Book, quote, scripture, anything that keeps Tylann always moving forward that you can pass on to the audience. Go.
For sure. I would say collaboration over competition. You know, always be a collaborator and not a competitor when it comes to this investing thing. Because even on my journey, even though I own all these homes myself, I must say that I have a mentor. I have a great relationship with my GC. I have a great relationship with my funder, you know, my tenants. And without all these moving pieces working together, nothing, I can't do it all on my own. So collaboration over competition, and also always be an emotionally intelligent investor. Consider everything and don't move selfishly, you know, when it comes to doing deals and transactions. You know, make sure everybody wins and offer some kind of value. And if you offer some type of value, it'll always come back to you for sure.
You hear that, people? Tylann just literally dropped 2 golden nuggets. He gave us about 25 during the show.
Yeah.
Brother, thank you for being on the Headley Group Real Estate Show again. You are an alumni 3 times. We're going to have you back again 4th very, very soon. You let us know when you're ready to jump back on board. Thank you for always supporting. Thank you, viewers out there supporting, and continue to watch us to grow. And we'll see you all next time on the Headley Group Real Estate Show. You guys take care.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Hey, gang, I hope you really enjoyed that show. Our guests provide us some great tips and insight, and please support them on all social media platforms. And while I'm saying that, support us on all social media platforms. And don't forget, watch the entire video on YouTube. We'll see you next time.